Good morning. Glad to see everybody here. We're here for a special occasion this morning, the dedication of a room for Dr. Rinard, a long-time faculty member in computer science. And I'm very pleased to say that we have a room that's being dedicated to him today. And I'd like to turn it over to Department Chair, Mike Flynn.
Thank you. So good morning, everybody. It is my honor to be here today to dedicate this space to Dr. George B. Rinard. As many of us knew him, Brad. Brad started here in 1991, and over his 30 years at Frostburg, he became a fixture not only of the department, but in the lives of so many students, faculty, and staff. Just looking around at this. He was more than just a professor. He was a mentor, he was a guide, and he was a friend. His impact is clear from the students who still speak of him to his heartfelt reactions on social media, where in just 24 hours of posting this event, we all saw over 400 impressions and countless stories of how Brad shaped individuals' lives. One of his former students, Russell Gilmore, said it best: Brad was one of my greatest mentors, and because of him, I now live a very fruitful life. Another student, Mary Beth Moore, shared how Brad's reassurance of, "You'll just figure it out," helped him persevere throughout her struggles, and she did. Brad always had a way of instilling confidence, not only in the work we do as educators, but also, and most importantly, in the people around him. Today, we dedicate this room to remembering Brad's achievements and to honor the legacy of care and mentorship he leaves behind. Thank you, everybody here who attended to ensure that Brad's legacy is preserved and continues to inspire future generations of students, faculty, and staff. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bill Rinard, who is Brad's father. Get right ahead and say a few things.
Oh,
and then
now?
Yeah.
I think I'm the first speaker. Okay, well, I thought, how am I going to take in a few minutes, give my memories and make up Brad, okay? So I sort of tried to pick him up at about the time that he was beginning his acculturation, and that was local. He lived in Rawlings, and I worked at the rocket factory, and later my wife worked at Frostburg at computer science. So Brad's culture, in the beginning there, he was still just a child. Russia put up Sputnik in '57, and that really turned the rocket business from a sleepy, weaponized firecrackers and fireworks into a situation where money was not an object, and we wanted to really do things. So in '57, things really started to moving in that factory and also in the community nearby. Housing was very short, so there was a lot of housing built. The people came in from technical people, which was very short. You guys understand that. We pulled in people from all over the US of A. And that built a community that Brad and I and family were part of, and it was sort of centered down there in the valley where ABO is. The community was unique in that it was mostly kids with degrees and children or to-be children. And so we had a community of new housing, educated people, and lots of kids. And the neighbors were, they are up for new things. Block parties were common. Barbecues, in the summertime, there was smoke everywhere from the barbecues, lots of kids, baseball games, and Brad was part of it. So he got to grow up in a very active community. And I think that was a big form for his, that really, sure, you are who you are acculturated to. Yeah. And so Brad liked it. Brad also liked to participate in running around on the mountains on feet and on bikes. And when he was a young kid, he also liked to capture little animals and bring them to show them to us. Tell me if I'm going too long. The community, I don't want to go too far on that. The community was from young people, and there was lots of backyard pools, the cheap kinds, you know, the ones that sit on top of the ground. And that worked very well until in about 1981. We were running out of space here in Allegheny County, and there was a big move to Utah, Salt Lake City, and Brad and his brother finished their high school at the Utah schools, and went to the University of Utah, and Brad wanted to come back here, and he wanted to get away. You know, he's getting old by then. He's 20 or something like that. So he brought himself back. He left the family and brought himself back to West Virginia University. And he imagined he was a dentist, and then he imagined he was a mathematician, and finally he imagined that, I think that the pay scales helped because he imagined he was a computer scientist and finished that work with his first degree from West Virginia University. And he traveled around a little bit and worked for Fairmont College, I don't know, and my wife, who was employed here at that time, convinced him to come to Frostburg State, which was, at that time, it was the Teachers College. And why are these funny computer people coming here? So, after he got accumulated here or got in, he thought that he could do well here, and he took kind of a challenge later after he got settled here. He took a challenge that he could get an advanced degree and stuck on top of the computer science department, and I think he was central to making that happen. There was a lot of things that had to happen. You had to get a staff. Staff were very short, so there was a funding and administration and a staffing problem along with getting that thing sold. And Brad loved this stuff. He really made maybe even too much of a life of it.
He made quite an impact.
And that's and now that you guys are closer to what he was doing than I am, so I can't expand much on what in detail he did here. But he and I went for walks just about weekly for a long time, and so that's sort of how Brad got from being a little kid to a leader in Frostburg's computer science department.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
Here we go, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Like that. Didn't cut you.